UK science funding shift threatens breakthrough research. The United Kingdom, once a global leader in fundamental scientific discovery, including the landmark confirmation of the Higgs boson, is now facing a critical juncture. Proposed cuts to physics and astronomy funding, coupled with a controversial restructuring of research priorities, are sparking fears of a catastrophic decline in British science. The changes prioritize applied research with clear economic benefits over blue sky exploration, raising questions about whether the UK is sacrificing long-term innovation for short-term gains. From Nobel laureates to budget cuts in 2013, the Nobel Prize in Physics recognized Peter Higgs's theoretical prediction of the Higgs boson, a particle essential to understanding the cosmos. This triumph underscored the power of curiosity-driven research, the kind that initially had no immediate commercial application, but ultimately transformed entire industries. Now, less than a decade later, the UK is considering scaling back its involvement in crucial international projects like the Large Hadron Collider upgrade, threatening to sideline British scientists from cutting-edge discoveries. The shift comes amid growing tension over how science funding should be allocated, towards unraveling the universe's mysteries, blue sky, or towards projects with immediate economic impact, applied. Some argue that cutting blue sky research not only harms scientists, but also undermines the very innovation that drives economic growth. As Durham University physicist Simon Williams points out, if the research is removed from the country, then I have a strong belief that the industry will be removed from the country. The bucket system and funding diversion at the heart of the dispute is a new bucket system imposed by the UK Research and Innovation Agency, UKRI. This system divides funding into three categories: blue sky research, government priorities like AI and quantum computing, and commercial development. Critics argue that this structure deliberately shifts resources away from fundamental science towards applied fields. The Science and Technology Facilities Council, SDFC, announced a likely 30% cut to particle physics and astronomy funding, citing overspending and economic pressures. However, sources within the SDFC suggest the cuts are a deliberate reallocation of funds, a claim disputed by UKRI head Sir Ian Chapman, who insists that curiosity-driven science is still protected. Mistrust and opaque accounting. The lack of transparency in UKRI's accounting has fueled mistrust. When asked for a breakdown of spending before and after the reorganization, Chapman initially claimed it was impossible, later agreeing to provide a report that failed to satisfy critics. Kai Onmura, chair of the Science, Innovation and Technology Select Committee, expressed her disappointment. The committee was very disappointed to learn that we couldn't actually track how that funding was changing. Adding to the concerns, over 60% of blue sky funding goes directly to universities, which have broad discretion over how it is spent, potentially diverting resources towards institutional overhead rather than pure research. Existential threat or responsible management? The proposed cuts have sparked outrage within the scientific community. Scotland's Astronomer Royal, Catherine Haymans, called them genuinely catastrophic, warning that the UK could be locked out of major international experiments. John Butterworth, a physicist at University College London, described the situation as existentially threatening to UK particle physics. However, proponents of the funding shift argue that it is necessary to align research with government priorities and drive economic growth. Dr. Stuart Wainwright, CEO of the UK Centre for Ecology and AMP Hydrology, believes that the reforms, if implemented correctly, can maximize both scientific discovery and economic benefits. The path forward. The UK faces a critical decision: whether to prioritize short-term economic gains at the expense of long-term scientific leadership. The current crisis demands transparency, accountability, and a renewed commitment to funding fundamental research alongside applied projects. Without decisive action, the UK risks losing its edge in scientific innovation, jeopardizing its future as a global leader in discovery.